long hiatus because I was sick and I wasn't able to do any interviews. So welcome back to I Said It. And today, I think the more I say about Mallika Bajaj is going to be completely less. It's not going to justify everything that she's done in her career so far. And we're very, very pleased to have her here with us. Of her many zillion titles that she's received, from being the youngest host for the Davis Cup tennis tournaments to having her own digital agency and helping so many people in this pandemic, we want to know more about you, Mallika. So let's start off with giving a brief introduction about your education background and how you got into what you're doing today.
Thank you, Gunjan. Thank you. And firstly, congratulations for the platform. I love that you've started I Said It. I think that's a great use of your time at COVID. It's been very productive. I think for me, I'm a very ordinary Delhi person who studied in Delhi. I finished my school in India. I think my parents growing up put us in sport. And so I think I can safely say that I didn't spend a lot of time in school because I was on the courts training. Or I was injured healing my injuries. So I was permanently at home doing tuitions and giving exams in school.
Okay.
So that was my school was a different sort of a journey. And then I moved to Australia, where I went to the University of Melbourne, and I finished my BA in Media and Communications. And then I moved over to London to finish a master's in the same. And that's when I realized that I was, because I'd gone from sport to academic, I realized that academics media and communication was something that really fascinated me. The fact that I could reach out through a platform to multiple millions of people and actually make a change using technology was, I think, where my journey really started.
So can you tell us a little bit of what you're currently doing at the moment? Apart from, I know you're doing you're like a jack of multifaceted, doing a million things. But at the core of it all, could you explain to all the listeners out there as to, what your core job is, what do you do exactly?
So by profession, I'm actually a digital entrepreneur. I run a company called the Little Yellow Beetle with my sister, which is a media solutions, 360-degree media solutions digital company where we make your everyday websites, apps. We help you digitize your dreams and make your products go online and reachable to a multiple audience. And on this within the same product, we have Apna Doctor, which is a affordable, accessible, anywhere healthcare platform, which is essentially created to mend the broken ladder within Indian healthcare, which is fortunately run by the man, because we have him run this project now, the man who gave India the PAN card. So, also happens to be my father, but he's now my chairman. So we're helping people get critical healthcare access in rural India, and then expanding to different parts of the world by providing the same kind of healthcare to underprivileged parts of the world using technology. And I also work extensively with children across the streets who are now family. They're my extended family, and we help them learn technology and then empower them for being heard globally by using new media. Yeah.
You have these kids on the streets, and are you taking them into your office space and sort of teaching them, or going to them physically and sitting with them and giving them classes per se, or educating them? So how does the entire process really start, and where does it end? How does that work?
So I think it started off with me just hanging out with them, because if I'm going to have an ice cream and I see these kids, I'm like, haan khaoge, like a lot of us do, right?
Yeah.
And they'll be like, haan Didi, hame ye chahiye. It happens to all of us, particularly if you're in India, you've seen a lot of that. But I think I sort of started spending a lot much time, because I'm someone who gets very excited by stories. So they would tell me stuff and I'd be like, aur batao. So that sort of helped us evolve our relationship.
Okay.
And I've realized that where there are a lot of opportunities for people who come and teach them, I don't actually teach them because I'm a terrible teacher. What we do together is we I've realized over time that even something as simple as going into a restaurant and ordering food for themselves, which obviously I help them with, and we've got a good network of people who support us also now financially, seeing the number of kids that we've got on board. We take them into restaurants. I teach them how to dress up. I teach them how to sort of talk in public. I teach them how to sit properly in one place and eat their food, finish their food, basic life skills, which I think were things that we took for granted. And Gunjan, I try and give them new experiences in life, so that we go take them to playgrounds. We take them to bowling alleys. We take them to restaurants every Sunday. I think I try and make every Sunday about them, and we both look forward to it. All of us look forward forward to it. And so I think we sort of collectively come together to create new experiences, so I can let them know that life is not just what they see every day.
Yeah. I mean, it's great just hearing about what you're doing. It's amazing. And I think we need more people out there like that, instead of just doing like a one-off where you go give food to someone who's on the street, click a picture, put it on social media, but don't really go back and do it. So Mallika started working at the age of 60. Everything I have read about you is, I mean, your career graph has been amazing. I mean, I think there would be someone behind you, or a role model that you looked up to, or someone that really encouraged you and said, go ahead, do everything and anything and excel at it.
Well, I think, thank you. That's very kind. No, I have to say that it looks very like I've succeeded at everything. I've also had very human, like I have not been able to manage a lot of things on my own, and I still break down. Like, you know, there'll be times when I'm receiving an award, but then my client's deadline is not being met, and I'm like breaking down, going, oh my god, I can't believe this is not getting delivered. So I still have those days, but I think the core crux comes down to the fact that I love what I do, and I do what I love. And so if once I set my heart to something and I know that this is something that I'm going to do, I've always been someone who finds a way to get things done. And I think coming to the role model aspect, I think it's because my parents have been that way. Like growing up, I think if now when we're having a lot of these webinars where we're all reflecting on our journeys, I realized that when you're growing up as a child, all these things keep coming to you and you keep doing things, but on a reflection perspective, you'll realize that of course I've been a part of the Me Too campaign. Of course I've been through girl hai kya karegi, are she's too weak for a sport, or I've seen my parents fight for us. I get so many awards, but there's so much more pressure on my parents ki ab itne awards ka kya karenge, shaadi kaise karenge iski. My parents are so proud of me that for me they are my wings, so I keep trying to fly higher. They keep pushing me to go higher, and that's just the setup that I'm raised in.
Tell us a little bit about which has been your most challenging sort of thing that you've done in your life, like in terms of your career.
I think no, fortunately it's not been that crazy for now. The only thing that's always put me up on my toes ever since I was a child is math. And running a business, you need to know how to do math. But I think on a more professional level, the biggest challenge has been the mindset. The biggest challenge has been able to convince people to do digital media, and I'm so grateful. I hate to say this, that COVID has happened, because now people who I was convincing earlier to go online because it's more environmentally friendly and responsible, because these people would only force us to do outdoors, which is so much paper, and apart from all other environmental hazards of billboards falling off, etc. So I think for me that was a big challenge, and I'm not going to deny that I've had far too many people not take me seriously, because they'll be like, ab to beta aap hame discount de do, aap to ladki ho, aapki to shaadi ho jayegi, ya beta aap na ek kaam karo, aap kyun itna kaam kar rahe ho, aap shaadi kar lo, aap mere bete se internal agency ban jao.
I just heard all this, I'm like, okay.
So I mean, I think those have been my challenges, where I feel like my day and my time has been wasted because I've been like presenting online, or like I'm giving a presentation to someone in person. It's been 45 minutes, and the only thing they gather is, aap single ho, aap mere bete se shaadi kar lo.
If you compare digital media to 5 years back and now, being in this space, and I'm just an outsider, I'm not someone who's into digital media, I'm into garments, but someone who's been in the industry for many, many years. I mean, how do you see the path growing, declining? How has it changed? And what do you feel are the future trends for digital media, even after COVID? What do you feel?
So I have to start off because you mentioned all these platforms. I remember when I was in my 12th grade and playing tennis as well, I would spend so much time on Facebook. By my mother, I remember her walking in and saying, Facebook tumhe paise dega kya? And a year from then, I was doing a digital media course, and I was like, haan, lag raha hai, dene wala. Yeah, so I think that, of course, times have changed. And I think because I've been studying this academically, I'm not shocked and I'm not surprised with the way it's grown. I think it's the only way forward. I think this technology has allowed to sort of surpass all boundaries, geographical, language, age. I think it's now gone from being a luxury, which sort of started off when we were sort of, growing up, to now becoming a utility. We're now on WhatsApp with our house helps. We're now ordering groceries online. All of that, like even basic stuff, doodh bhi ab online milne laga hai. This whole I am person who started his own company. And so I think it's going to stay. So that the debate about whether or not to go digital is just redundant. You can't have that debate. If you're having that debate, you're already late on the ride. So maybe you should fix that to begin with. But I think as the future, while we sort of talk about also post-pandemic, everything is going to be digital. I think there's nothing wrong with technology. And as an academic, I'm going to become a bit more serious when I say, the medium is just the massage. It's a long-drawn theory that McLuhan has been writing about ever since, technology had sort of come up. And as academics, we've been sort of working on new technology and its sustainability and innovation in sustainability. And we're working on the environment now, because I think with the way people have adopted this technology, everybody's got their own way of using, the communication platform, but we're not realizing that our footprint, what we're saying now and how it's being comprehended, the entire communication network's going to go for a spin if we're not careful about the content we're making. All of us are, using this platform to express everything we're feeling, and more so now than ever before. And so we're sort of, in 1 minute I'm happy, but in the next minute I'm jealous, or in the third minute I'm like blocking someone, or I'm just being super excited again. And we all sound a little bit crazy. And I think it's all adding up to the fact that India has become the most depressed country in the world for over 2 years in a row now, because with social media, I think we put out unreal expectations. Nobody realizes.
That's like the other side. I mean, you have the social media for business, and now like fashion shows going online, car launches, you're saving so much of paper with those press releases and everything that, those hampers and all of that. But there is also another side, which is...
There's a whole new side that we need to be careful about.
Being on social media and experiencing a lot of terrible things like, like...
bullying, cyberbullying, trolling.
Yeah, cyberbullying, like guys bad-mouthing girls making groups, bitching. Yeah. I mean, I think it's like a boon and a bane. So there are like two sides to it. So you're using it in a good way, and also there's a bad sort of side to it.
No, absolutely. And I think with the way forward, even in the businesses, of course, we're all going to go online. There's no question about that. But what are we going to do online? Why are we going to go online? We have to sort of realize that, this whole ego of mera apna business is not going to take you anywhere, because there's a whole, you're going to have to market it. Why don't you just collab? Why don't you co-create? Why don't you become a part of, a larger picture? Because you're saving so much, bandwidth. You're not, and it's very important, and I'll tell you why. Because I mean, if you focus on luxury brands that are going online now, not realizing that you're taking up so much bandwidth of the internet by putting high resolution videos and changing your content every day, I think it's so irresponsible, keeping in mind that even healthcare services now, services that you need as an everyday necessity, are now online. So you can't take away the internet is only that much, right? You can't take away all of it to just be selfish and say mera business to chalna chahiye, and log on the side are dying because they can't even access Google because you've taken away the bandwidth space that is available.
Tell us something a little bit about what do you think, like in India in general, in the digital space, where do you think the companies are going wrong, and where do you think they need to sort of improve, and something that you feel that they're missing that point? Like, I think it would serve as a good advice for people who are just starting up and getting into this space. So how do you, what advice would you give such people, and what not to do and what to do?
Right, so I'm going to speak from an expertise point of perspective, which I have in the learning management system area. Well, of course, everybody is going digital, great. Very happy. You can also reach out to us on Little Yellow Beetle and we'll help you digitize it. But on a more professional space, where I think you'll realize everybody is trying to create content, and everybody is now waking up and saying, "Hum to apna LMS banayenge," like a learning management system, because schools or doctors or corporate homes, all of them are now reaching out to us on an everyday basis, and this is a constant struggle that I have, where I keep trying to tell them, apna karne ki jagah, just accept what is available. And the reason we're saying this is because there have been experts down years who had predicted this day, and so we are ready to take on your requirements. And continue to take you through this ride for the next 10 years at least. Because right now, if you start creating your own LMS, what people don't realize is, where is the content going to come from? How are you going to sustain the kind of content, the eyeballs? How are you going to tell people that you come to us every single day and we're going to give you something original? Like, there are only those many ways to tell someone that an apple is red.
When do you think like would be the right stage? Let's start off. I'm not talking about the big businesses. Say like even the basic, like a blogger, fashion blogger, mom blogger, small businesses that are now on Instagram that are selling everything. This thing of, I think a lot of people make mistakes, like, when you promote ads on, say, an Instagram, and then like, it's you just like click on, create a manual list or do whatever. And you end up getting a lot of likes and like some 10,000 likes on your image, but you don't end up getting the followers and organic followers, people who you want to buy from you, people who you want like should appreciate the kind of content that you're making. So I mean, and this whole scandal of fake followers and blah blah, I mean, like how does a new business in that scenario, what are the first few steps that a new business needs to take to sort of be successful?
Right, now that's a very, very valid question, and I'm glad you've asked that, because the one thing that we keep telling brands is that you cannot become famous in 1 month. And I will debunk this because I work with Instagram and we work with YouTube all day. Firstly, I have to tell people that this whole blue tick verified business is becoming such a mania for so many people, because I think half their identity, it's almost like having a passport and a blue tick, like, so I think that needs to stop, because I need to say this, it's become very monetized. That process is very, very monetized. They've become very, very, financially driven, both Instagram and all these other platforms. So if you don't get it, it does not say anything about your work or your quality of, followers. So that is definitely one. Number two, I have to say that, success doesn't come overnight. So it's going to be the same thing online as well. It does take a while to build your audience and to build their faith and their trust. And so for all the new brands that are starting out, I want to say, be very, 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 very careful of the quality of content you're putting out. And when I say quality, I'm saying watch the kind of tools that you're investing in. Your cameras need to be high resolution. If you can't afford an agency, get your basic lighting in place. See that it's going to have to be a landscape situation. Your content can't be repetitive. It can't be something that you keep saying on loop, because then someone can just automatically get bored and not ever want to come back. So make sure that what you're saying is authentic. It's not on repeat, and it's just crisp, and it has some sort of emotion. I think emotion is very, very important when you're producing content online. And last but not the least, try and be as honest to your audience as you can. There's no need to replicate, your biggest followers or your biggest influencers out there.
That happens a lot, the overlapping content.
Yeah, because I think everybody out there, it's just so easy to confuse your identity. But once you're online, have the faith in yourself to be able to tell something honestly. And I think you'll find the people in this world who will connect with you. I think that's just one thing that most brands forget.
I want to know about some of your other work, like, your pro bono work and the things that you've done to actually help people in this global pandemic, which has consumed so many of us. Like, I think we're still privileged. We're sitting in our houses, we're comfortable, we have access to health, medical care, access to food. But I know that, in this time, you've done a lot more for the people who need a lot of help in every aspect of their lives. So I want to know more about the kind of work that you've been doing during this pandemic for those kind of.
So it was a dream. Apna Doctor has been a dream for a very, very long time, to be able to, provide critical access to healthcare to people who don't have access to it on an everyday basis. And those are things that we take for granted. Like, I know for a fact now, because we're working in this space every day, Gunjan, even things like, if I go and gift them sanitary napkins, ki yaar rakho, use karo isko, we've informed them, we've educated them. And as an educated citizen, that's my first responsibility, to be able to educate someone else. And I'll go back in a month and be like, so did you enjoy the experience of using this instead of using, cloth and washing it? And they'll be like, no, we kept it for a big occasion. And that breaks my heart, because I'm just like, how can you keep a sanitary napkin for a special day, which is a basic necessity? And these are things that we can't even reach out to. So that is, I think, where we sort of realize that women and child care has become a priority in the pandemic with Apna Doctor, where we're trying to reach out to them, tell them that having pains and having fevers and having cramps is not normal, because these people have just continued to make these things normal. They don't even know that they can talk about it. They don't know that there are medicines. They don't know that there is treatment. Sometimes even having an access to a gynac who is a female is such a luxury to them, that they will reach out to me only when it's an emergency, because they're so used to, you know, their guys, or going to this male physician who's not even an expert and has just been winging childbirth, which is such an important part of, you know, any woman's life, because it can be scarring if nothing else. So I think those are the things that Apna Doctor helps. And as a woman, I think I realized that while we have a lot of support from, you know, expert doctors that we've had on board, we've got over 2,000 doctors who work with us across the country now, and have used this platform more with a lot more love than not just, you know, have that as a professional responsibility. And we've got investors from, you know, different parts of the world now who are believing in this process. But it's just the joy of seeing them just pick up a phone and say, आज हमें गैस की प्रॉब्लम हो रही है और डॉक्टर साहब ने हमें ठीक कर दिया घर बैठे बैठे. They feel like they're important. They feel like they're you know, they matter to the society, because an expert in Delhi is addressing their stomach ache. And we're also allowing people to sort of, you know, come online and discuss their COVID symptoms with their doctors, just, you know, next door, so that you don't go and pile on or spread the infection, God forbid you have it. So we're trying to control it as much as we can using this virtual platform. I think my ultimate goal is, like I keep saying, to be able to reach out to that last girl in that last rural village and let her know that there is technology and that your dreams matter, and that I'm going to believe in you. And if there's any help that I can do, I'm going to reach out to people who can help you, or I can help you personally. So for me, that's an ongoing process. And there are so many women in this world, there are so many young kids in the world who need that hope and belief, that even if I continue to do this all my life, and you ask me this at 99, I'll be like, I'm still reaching out to the last girl child in that last rural village, because there's just so much work that needs to be done. So I think that excites me, and hopefully God will continue to stay kind, and I continue meeting amazing people like yourself, and we can keep collaborating and doing good work.
I know, great. I'm so glad that, you know, you could come on I Said It and speak about the kind of work that you're doing, and I'm sure that a lot of people are going to be very interested to see this interview.